Life is about hard decisions, and sometimes those decisions that you make aren't necessarily affecting your life. We're going to talk about that. Sometimes when you make the decision to help another life, it comes back to take your own. You never know. You really, truly never know. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. I want to start out by, before I run everybody off with the title of the show, to let everybody know that I am not telling you not to help people. What I'm telling you is not to kill your loved ones. There's a big difference. I'm not telling you not to help people. I'm telling you not to kill your loved ones. There's a lot of advice going around out there that is going to do exactly that. So anyway, before we get on subject, give you some uppy daties. So obviously the grow tent is in full run. So you got to see 2 arugula lettuce plants earlier. I will not say what, but I will say that I have found another sprout this evening, so of a different type of plant. So tomorrow morning you will get your daily vlog video. They'll normally be in the mornings, not the afternoon like it was today. And you'll get to see that. And so far so good. So far so good. And as the system's running a little bit, the irrigation system is actually working a little bit better than what it had previously. I still may have to put a little bigger pump in it. I don't know. We'll see. It's doing definitely better. I've been messing with it and trying to tweak it, and I think I figured out a few things. So, anywho, so like I say, I really wanted to wait until another couple of days to get the vlog started on that, but I didn't have that opportunity. Let's see, any other updates? Lots of news. We're going to be covering that. I got to see my brother today. I haven't saw my brother in some years. I think it goes back to possibly 2012 was the last time I seen him, because I don't think I saw him in 2013. So that would put that at 2012 was the last time I saw him. So got to visit with him today. He brought me some yummy venison goodies. And so that was a nice visit. Let's see. Trying to think if there was anything else. Not that I know of. I don't know if I said anything about this or not. I think I may have on Thursday's show, possibly. But I should be doing the shelf project soon. Reinforcing the shelves, so I would imagine probably sometime within the next week I would expect that video. So let's see, can't think of anything else off the top of my head. So anyway, let's get to the subject at hand. So one of the popular opinions going around is that it might be a good idea to build little kits or, whatnot. And you could name it anything you want to: survivor sacks, refugee bags, whatever you want to call it. The thing of it is, if you hand somebody a pre-made little kit, they are going to know real quickly that you have some level of preparedness going on. Now, that's one thing. I'm not saying that individual has any malice intent. They don't have to. But let's say that they're walking down the road and somebody runs into them. Where'd you get that? Oh, man, there was a guy back there. I told him what was going on. You know, the world's crazy and all that. Told him all that. And he gave me this bag of stuff and said not to come back, but that ought to hold me over. But he might have another one. Any number of possibilities can happen from that. And not any one of those possibilities are a reason for you to risk your loved ones. It's just not. You can help people and at the same time not show your cards. But the manners and methods in which you help them are going to require, in some cases, a fair amount of knowledge, skills, ability, which you should be trying to obtain because you're a prepper. So, what do I mean by you can help them and you know, not necessarily by giving them things? Well, first off, handing somebody a bottle of water is one thing. That's not in any way out of the ordinary unless you're talking a year into SHTF and you've still got plastic bottles of water. Come on. But if you're 2 weeks in or something like that and you've got a plastic bottle of water, that don't look too far out of whack. But if you go handing them a little sack with 2-3 bottles of water and some food ration bars and multi-tools, knife, whatever, you know what I mean, a flashlight, the typical stuff, right? Or even remotely the typical stuff, they're going to know that you're not the average Joe or Jane. It's a fact. And it's not worth risking your loved ones' lives. Not when there's a better way. So, if you do your homework, you'll find that in war-torn places, the more often than that, more people die from disease than they do bullet wounds. And quite a few of those deaths from disease are attributed to bad water, non-safe drinking water. So, suffice it to say, one of the most important ways you could help somebody out is to help them be able to provide themselves with clean water. That is huge. Huge. You may not understand it so much now. Wait until after a major event sets in. Give it about 6 or 8 months. Let all the water supplies become nice and contaminated. Then we'll see. Becomes a very big deal very quick. We're just not used to that because, well, we, for the most part, don't have to deal with it. So I would say that's a pretty significant way to help somebody. So, here's how you do it. Somebody approaches you, hey, you know, I don't know what to do, and you want to help them because you're a caring human being, and I get it, I am too. So you say, okay, well, I know how to make a water filter, but I need sand, gravel, and charcoal, and a bottle. You know where any one of those are? You help them gather those materials. Again, gravel, sand, charcoal, a bottle. And once you've got those materials gathered, and I'm not going to go into it, I don't know that I need to go into it. There's plenty of videos on YouTube of it. Build a water filter. Show them how to build a water filter. At the same time that you're building them a water filter, you build you a water filter. You make it appear as if that's going to be the same life-giving device to you as what it is to them. Now, you have just given them not only the ability to provide themselves and their loved ones with clean water, but the knowledge on how to do it again and teach others how to do it. And you never gave up a thing. And I'm not talking about material items when I say giving up a thing. I'm talking about giving up your situation, your personal situation in the event. Because you don't want to give that up. I'm telling you. You do not want to give that up. You have to find ways around being able just to hand something to somebody, because it's going to get your loved ones killed. There are no do-overs. There are no do-overs. You're laying there bleeding out. It doesn't matter if you say, man, I wished I wouldn't have did that. It doesn't matter. It's too late. So don't put yourself in that position. Why am I speaking on this? Because it is the intent of my group to help people help themselves. But we know in order to do that, we can't compromise ourselves. You know, you're in a plane, they give you and I've never been in a commercial jet, but they give you a spiel, a safety spiel, and they tell you about how if something were to happen and you've got a child with you and your oxygen mask falls, that you put your mask on first before you take care of your child. Same thing. Same thing. You have to be really careful with this. And it's real easy to just throw stuff out there that sounds good. And most people don't sit there and break it down. Most people, especially goes out there throwing around these swell ideas, aren't doing due diligence on homework. There is quite a societal change when there is a major event. Things that today you would think are of unspeakable, unthinkable, will be the norm. And it goes like that. There is no time period in which it slowly gets worse after a major event. It's boom. Look it up. All this information's freely available. You look up all kinds of conflicts around the world, military types of conflicts, civil unrest. It's all out there. You know, you read about Venezuela alone and learn a whole hell of a lot. You know, I think many of us have come to the realization, especially over the past couple of years, that we may not quite have the security in our country that we thought we had. I think even people that have been in this genre, so, well, I do news, but like the prepping genre and being aware of the news, being a truther of sorts. I think they really had a wake-up call this past couple of years. I think some are still waking up. I really do. I think that this is going to get stupid. I've got an article, for instance, and I know I'm getting off subject to what the monologue was supposed to be about, but just to give you reference, let me get the link here. I mean, this is just mind-blowing to me. Get this switched over here. All right. Right here. Let's see. The headline is Ignore No Soliciting Signs, Tips for COVID-19 Vaccine Ambassadors Resurface Amid Concerns Over Biden's Door-to-Door Push. My concern is right here, which is what I had done Thursday's show on. Imagine that. The door knockers were specifically instructed to fill out a spreadsheet and keep tabs on who is already vaccinated and who is not interested, and to report back their questions, concerns, and other important information that the health department is relying on. Doesn't that sound eerily familiar to what I was talking about Thursday? Where they would report back, and then, sometime around dark 30, you may or may not get a knock on the door. We're in for some very, very, very interesting times. And I don't know how it's going to shake out. I have no idea. None of us do. And we don't know how, if this is going to kick off domestically, or if this is going to kick off with some type of international event like conflict, or we have no idea. But there's many of us that I think can agree that we know we're teetering on an edge of some kind. We've got, of course, the global military conflict. You've got the financial issues. It's just unbelievable. All the domestic issues and domestic issues, and hell, at this point, about every nation in the world. I mean, crazy times. When things are going to get better, it makes a world of difference in actions and reactions. But there comes a point in time when you realize it's not going to. We often talk about, and I'm talking about people in the prepping community, they often talk about how many days until chaos. Well, there isn't really just one wave. You got your initial wave, and then you're going to have a wave come. Your initial wave is going to be pretty quick, okay? Depending on the event, obviously, it depends on the event. But let's say the grid goes down, and one way or another, the individuals in that particular city realize that this is a nationwide event. So you're immediately going to have people that act a fool. Immediately. It's going to be your first wave. Then you're going to have a second wave. And that's the wave that the preppers debate over, whether it's 24, 48, 72 hours, however long. Then you're going to have that wave. The people rushing, trying to get what they can get. But then you're going to have another wave. And I think it's really highly dependent upon what the event is, as is pretty much all of this. But typically, a week to 2 weeks into an event, without having any hope of resolve, you have another wave. You have another wave. Those are the people that were holding hope that they wouldn't have to resort. And this is something you have to understand. I realize there's a lot of stuff I'm talking about, and I'm not really... I don't do good at teaching this stuff. I suck at teaching this stuff. I'm not saying this is something that this type of stuff is something that the average person wants to do. Not at all. Not at all. But I don't think people, and when I say people, I include many preppers in that as well even, truly have sat down and thought about the situation in which they're looking at their loved one and they can't feed them, or they can't warm them in the freezing cold, or whatever the case may be. They can't provide them with the life-sustaining needs to see them through. It's a dark, very dark thought, but it's a real one. Man, that's why I don't take this stuff lightly. People get out there with these prepper channels and they throw a smile on their face and they talk about it with glee, and I'm not saying we should be all somber but I do think we need to take a step back, because I see a lot of information getting thrown out there that sounds good, but in reality, not so much. Again, the reason I brought up that fact about the different waves is because once people lose hope, there's really only one opportunity from there. And that is opportunity. It sounds stupid, I know, right? The only thing that you can do, if you really, truly want to be able to help people, is organize now, ahead of time. And I'm talking serious organization, as in have equipment squared away, have a leadership team squared away. I'm talking doing the things on a pretty high level, on a highly organized level. It's my intent. That's my intent, is to be able to transition into a survival community as quickly and easily as possible. Leadership. Kind of a forgotten art. I am so tired of the spam. What is the deal with this? I get, I guess emails can text phones. Text phones now. I get all kinds of spam messages. So, one of the things that I highly recommend you do if you want to help people, instead of putting back all these neat little nifty things to hand them, many of which aren't going to do a whole lot of good because they aren't going to truly know how to use them properly. I don't want to do that to people. That's actually kind of cruel if you think about it. It is kind of cruel. Give somebody something that, yeah, it may get them down the road, but yeah, to me that's pretty cold. Teach them. If you want to do something, teach them. If you teach somebody how to build a water filter and filter their own water, I guarantee you that, one of these channels' arguments is that it would more or less keep them busy long enough to get away from you. Okay. Teach them how to build a water filter. Right? They're going to be walking along for miles talking about building that water filter. Showing other people how to build that water filter. Whole lot different than saying, what? Oh, this bucket? Oh, I got this bucket from that house? Know what I mean? Gotta be careful with that stuff. Really careful with that stuff. Seriously, if anybody that watches this is in a position to organize teams, get on it. Like yesterday. Make it happen. Because I think that is going to be the best opportunity for many. Remember what I said, and I keep saying, an important part of what you're doing as being a prepper is having the ability to remain unseen. That's essentially a huge part of it. Right? I mean, of course, be able to provide yourself with food and your needs and whatnot, obviously. But also, is it not to kind of remain unseen? You don't want to be out on the streets looking for stuff if you don't have to be, right? No. So, as I've said many, many times before, you really shouldn't be out there anyway. When the majority of the stuff, when the first of it's going down. Man, that first 72 hours after it, certainly an SHTF, yeah, you definitely don't want to be out and about. Definitely not. Not worth the risk. any of the risks, and there's a ton of risks involved there. Not worth any of them. Just stay put. And then, depending on your situation, everything is dependent upon your situation. Don't ever take anything that anyone says and about their situation and apply it to yours unless your situation is almost identical. Now I forgot where I was going to go with that. What I'm basically getting at is those of you that are in a position to coordinate teams, get on it. And the reason why is I don't think there's really much of anything worth a damn put in place. Okay, I know there's not for emergency management. Okay, and when I say this, I'm not talking about just on the cluster F of a FEMA level that we're used to seeing. I mean, there's nothing better than that. I mean, that's it. That's what you got. Okay? It's what you got. So, if we expect to be able to make any type of difference in any amount, if that's what you want to do, I know people want to help. They inherently want to help, and that's fine. But don't do so in a manner that's going to get yourself and your loved ones killed. Don't do it. They didn't ask for that. You're much better off to put a little extra time and effort into it now, today. Get yourself some organization together. Even if you've got a base crew with a base direction, a base idea, again, it's all completely dependent on your situation, your area, what your resources are. We have a unique set of resources here, which makes it nice. I was waiting for one of them to be utilized Friday morning. It's Friday morning. I was getting ready, actually, to do the Patreon morning news on Friday morning, and bleep, our power went out. And once in a while, I mean, that happens. It's a given. But here it typically don't last for any length of time. And a lot of times it's a flicker. So after about 15 minutes, I'm like, So I went ahead and I actually grabbed the Go Power Plus and plugged in my phone, and it was like at 80-something% or something, and Jen's phone was almost full, but I topped them off. At the same time, grabbed the 60-watt Rock Piles panel, got it up outside with the 20-foot extension cable, got it hooked up to the my little generic Rock Piles unit, topping it off to make sure that it was good to go. So I already, at 15 minutes in, I started doing a couple of motions. Now, mind you, at that time I had confirmed that it was the entire town. I knew that it wasn't a small outage, and it is rare, by the way, for our entire town to go out. I was actually figuring that what happened was the main line that feeds into our town went down, and I don't know if that's what happened or not, but that kind of makes sense. I thought I heard thunder. Yay! We got nothing. Yeah, we had some crazy weather. But anyway, yeah, we got some minor storms moving through, just rain. So, let's see, where was I on that? Oh, so I'm just going through the motions, just getting things started because I verified this, and I was waiting for the town to kick theirs on. That's the interesting thing. We have our own power plant, and so we normally don't run on it. What the city does is they buy power from Ameren in bulk and then resell it to us. Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, we typically get a little bit better deal than if we went straight through Ameren, which we can't, but I'm pretty sure we get a little better deal. So, anyway, sorry, my battery charger fell. So anyway, they don't normally run it, the generator. Hell, I don't even know. I'm sure they started up just to do maintenance runs and testing on it, but I don't know how often. But yeah, the town has the ability to produce 100% of its own power. So that is a plus. I don't honestly know what powers the system now. I don't know if it's diesel. I think it used to be diesel fuel. I don't know now if it's diesel fuel, if it's natural gas, propane, any number of things. I have no idea. I know that they put in a new system not super long ago, and I was aware of the old system because actually I was a geek. Told you guys this. When I was in junior high, we had this thing to where we went up for vote or whatever. You could get elected for certain positions among the town, like there was mayor and police chief and blah blah blah. Well, there was also like whatever power plant director or whatever. Well, nobody was interested in that. Who in the hell would be interested in that? Everybody wants to be mayor and the police chief and yada yada yada. Well, geeky here wanted to be the power plant guy. I told you, did I not tell you that I was into electricity since I was 5 years old? I'm not kidding you. Since kindergarten, I've been into electricity. I wasn't kidding. I wasn't exaggerating. Not for a second. So, yeah. Anyway. Messed up life. Hell. Crap, I didn't realize it's 1:45 until we got a ton of headlines too. I think I've pretty well covered it, but that was the main thing, folks. And I gave you there's several other ideas you could use too, but a water filter is a real good one. It's one that's easily done for most of us. Not everybody, but there are some individuals that would have a problem being able to locate, one or more of the items. But most of us can come up with gravel and sand and charcoal and an empty bottle. Most of us can. And then from there, you just need a piece of T-shirt or something like that for your filter on the bottom. Just something to stop the charcoal from coming out of the hole in the bottom of the bottle. Actually, the top of the bottle, which would be the bottom of the filter. Anyway. I think that covered all that goodness. But yeah, just be careful. The survival kit idea is not necessarily a good idea. That really gives others at least a little bit about how you're ready. And you don't want to do that at all. Not even the least bit. So it's better to approach it from an angle of, hey, I know how to do this. You happen to know where we can get any of this? Kind of like, hey, I can I have the ability, I have the skills, I have the knowledge. I need you to help me to get together the supplies. Even if you don't really need to help them to help you get the supplies. It's not the point. Not the point. In poker, do you let everybody know what you have from the get-go? No. Why would you think this is any different? Stakes are a hell of a lot higher, that's for sure. It's raining. Fun times. Ooh, I see hail, not where we're at yet. It's actually lightening up where we're at. Hang on, let me real quick look at the regional and make sure we aren't going to get blindsided by something. No. Okay. Been kind of really unsettled weather the past couple of days or so. Just sporadic kind of storm systems popping up. So always want to keep an eye on those, quick popping, fast moving storms. You want to keep an eye on them. If you're in the Midwest, you know why. Well, it takes for a second tornado to spawn up out of one and wipe out a good day. Let's see. Get all that squared away. Get you guys moved around. We'll do some headlines and I am tired. Up again early as usual today, and I've been taking extra peeks in the little grow tent. Man, looks like it's starting to come down pretty good. I don't know. You guys can't see. I know the security cameras. I know you can't see real good. But it's coming down pretty good. It's just, like I say, it's just rain though. There's not any heavy storms or anything. Where the hell's my other screen? There we go. Alright. Let's do this before I lose the window again. Oh, one other thing that I actually did a fair amount of over the weekend, and in fact I might pop on after the show here and do just a little bit more. Flight sim. I have been getting in there and enjoying it a little bit, having some fun. There is a gentleman on YouTube by the name of Mike Patey, and well, he does all kinds of things related to aviation, but one thing he does is he's an engineer. He designs aircraft, and he loves designing really stupid high-performance aircraft. I mean, just unbelievably mind-blowing, powerful aircraft. They're unreal. Well, anyway, he's got a little racing. I believe it's built off of a VL3, concept, and it's just a real little bitty sporty plane. And this one to do like right around like 400 knots or something. I mean, just unbelievable. 380 something knots, something like that. Just unbelievable. And the power that this thing, and this is a real life aircraft. And so somebody in Flight Simulator did up the specs on a simulated aircraft like his plane, like Mike Patey's plane. He calls the name of the plane is called Turbulence. And oh my goodness, is that thing just you get in that thing, and I mean, it's just a dream, absolute dream. And I took the fighter jets for a spin, the MB339. I smashed it into the ground not long before the show. I smacked it into the ground. I was, where did I go in at? Oh, New York. I was flying around New York in an MB-339 fighter jet, and I was just going to try to mess around with people and, you know, kind of try to tail them and stuff. And, yeah, took it right into the ground. It happens. It happens, especially when you're trying to do low speed turn so you can turn around and go back after a Cessna. I have a lot of fun though. Fun times. And let's see, I've got all kinds of aircraft in there now. So DC-6, that thing's a fun plane to fly. That thing is a blast to fly. Because it's hard. It's not an easy plane. A lot of challenge there. So it's, let's see. What is that? The Goshawk T-45. I was trying to think of the plane. That's another one I've got that's fun. Anyway, I'll quit boring you with flight sim aircraft. I'm back down to using one monitor again, because I keep bouncing back and forth between doing the two wide monitor thing and a single monitor. I just can't handle that bezel being in the center, and like some of your most important gauges are in the center, and when your bezel's there, yeah, it sucks. So, I just cut it back down to doing it on one screen, and so I'll have to go live again. We're supposed to get an update for Flight Sim at the latter part of this month that is supposed to really, really massively increase the performance for us mid-range folks that don't have the latest, greatest computers. And so I have a feeling that Microsoft knows what they're talking about with this, as well as it's also coming out on the Idiot Box at the end of this month, meaning like the whatever Xbox or whatever, one of those consoles. And so inevitably, the only way that they're gonna be able to make it work on an Xbox is to dumb it down, at least to some level, for everybody. So it is what it is. It kind of sucks for the PC folks. Probably not so much for me, because I don't have a mean enough computer to really see, what some of these other folks are in the flight simulator. My graphics I can't turn way up. So, but yeah, I'll take a performance increase, and when that comes around, I'll take you guys on some flights with me. So, all right. Start out with some headlines from Friday. We have a sip of tea, couple of vapes. I'll tell you what, a little bit of spicy venison sausage that I got from my brother. It's got jalapeno and cheese, and it'll bite you. Of course, he wouldn't think so. He likes hot stuff, though. Real hot stuff. Okay. Starting Friday, rocks tumbled down Sierra Nevada mountains after 6.0 quake, and dozens of aftershocks rattle Northern California. FDA and CDC reassure Americans that third COVID-19 jab is not needed yet, as Pfizer seeks to request emergency approval for booster shot. Haiti's president killed by foreign hit squad of ex-Colombian military and Haitian Americans, 11 arrested inside Taiwan embassy. Twitter begins complying with new regulations in India. As South Korea's COVID-19 infections break records, Seoul reimposes maximum social distancing rules. Ukraine developing new shoes for female military personnel after scandal over images of soldiers practicing marches in high heels. Taliban declare full control of Afghan's key border crossing with Iran. Russia raises GDP growth outlook as economy recovers faster than expected. Pardon me, I guess it's going to be a yawny night. Russia raises GDP growth outlook as economy recovers faster than expected. Over 50 killed, dozens injured, as many feared trapped in Bangladesh factory fire. As U.S. social media giants censor free speech online, Russia and China lead the charge to break free from American control of the web. Heck? Let's see. Northern Irish loyalists slam neighboring Ireland for inflicting trade Cold War. Taliban militants won't be allowed to run riot in Tajikistan after Americans pull out of Afghanistan, top Russian general tells RT. China will take all necessary measures to defend companies blacklisted by the U.S., says the foreign ministry. Israeli government fumes as Arab cast of Cannes-screened movie about IDF blockaded village skip festival in protest. Still on Friday, by the way. Moscow mutation, Siberian strain. That's horrible that they're saying things like that. WHO puts COVID-19 variant first discovered in Russia on special list for extra monitoring. Man, can't believe that. Siberian strain. How racist. Sydney residents made to carry ID to prove they're within 10 kilometers of home while exercising during lockdown. Bitcoin slides amid broader cryptocurrency market sell-off. Pyongyang rejects AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine over side effects, says South Korean think tank. Well, I'll tell you what. Any group of people that reject the vaccine, in my opinion, is a think tank. But I digress. No sex after vaccination. Well, there's enough right there. Regional Russian politician tells local citizens they must avoid hanky-panky after the COVID-19 jab. Don't get a little dab after the jab. Let's see. London cop Wayne Couzens pleads guilty to murdering Sarah Everard, will be sentenced on September 29th. Spanish police arrest two underage suspects over high-profile murder of gay man beaten to death. Israeli company to pay transgender woman $10,000 after pharmacist referred to her as a male. Europe's drug regulator urges heart condition to be added to the list of potential side effects of mRNA's COVID vaccines. Australia Environment Minister draws plaque after stating she will challenge coal mine expansion court ruling. As Taliban reaches Tajikistan border, Russia says it's ready and prepared to defend its close ally against Islamist terrorist group. Giant panda no longer on endangered species list as wildlife conditions improve, China's top conservation official says. Beirut port blast investigator denied request to question Lebanon security chief over devastating explosion. A bipartisan committee approval of $3.3 billion in U.S. security assistance to Israel slammed on Twitter. A God Bless Abortion sign draped across massive Jesus statue in Arkansas by activists over attempts to ban terminations. Police watchdog investigating UK cops from several forces over Sarah Everard's murder. Speed limit to be reduced to that of horse wagon in almost all Paris streets in bid to make city greener. Now, there comes a point where you slow down a vehicle to where it no longer becomes efficient. And when it no longer becomes efficient, guess what? It's also not running at its optimum cleanliness. Right? Because efficiency goes kind of hand in hand with it running clean. So when you're putting along and on and off that gas pedal, not so clean. But if you can get up to 30, 40 mile an hour without a bunch of going and stopping, then you're doing pretty good. Cleaner, better traffic flow, less accidents, better on vehicles, better on roads. But politicians are completely clueless. Macron announces French bases in Mali to begin closing in coming months amid restructuring of Sahel mission. We don't recognize that figure. London and Brussels at odds over UK's liabilities under Brexit divorce agreement. Biden and Putin discuss Syria and cyber attacks in phone call, says the White House. Pfizer and AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines highly effective in vulnerable people in the UK. Study of 1 million jab recipients finds. Let me have a sip of tea here. Netherlands reimposes COVID-19 measures over rise in cases just weeks after lifting restrictions. Florida condo collapse death toll rises to 78 after remains of 14 more people pulled from rubble. Again, this is Friday's news. Lincoln Project co-founder blasted for calling January 6 Capitol riot more dangerous than 9/11. You know, there was a good point that was raised. I think it was raised on, I want to say Timcast, but I could be mistaken. And that point was, they keep calling this, yeah, it was Timcast. They keep calling this an insurrection, right? That's all you hear, other than riot. You hear riot a lot too, but you hear about this insurrection, right? Well, insurrection is actually a crime. It's a criminal charge, okay? You know how many people out of all those that's been charged with crimes related to what happened on January 6th, you know how many of those people have been charged with insurrection? Zero. You don't think that if it was an insurrection, that out of what, 500 and some odd people or something, that there would at least one single insurrection charge? I mean, it's actually pretty remarkable that they can't trump up at least one insurrection charge, to be honest. That alone says a lot. The federal government to pay millions to create database for Capitol riot evidence, says the media. French healthcare regulator recommends mandatory COVID-19 vaccinations for frontline workers. Putin tells Biden Russia ready to cooperate on cybersecurity, but no requests come from Washington. Tehran police and firefighters respond to reports of loud explosion. Haiti requested U.S. troops after president's assassination, a minister tells the New York Times. Russia and India denounce vaccine discrimination and politicization, discuss mutual cooperation amid COVID-19 pandemic. Biden nominates Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti as ambassador to India. Biden administration reverses Trump policy on pregnant immigrants with new instructions never referring to them as women. This doesn't remind me. I was thinking one of these other articles, I forget what it was, reminded me. Earlier today, there was another thing I forgot to mention that I did that was actually, I don't know, my opinion, a big part of my day. And I'm talking about the launched and successful completed mission of Richard Branson. No, I will not call him sir. Richard Branson's flight. That was pretty remarkable, and I'm going to talk about that here in a moment. But a booster shot's not needed at this time. Fauci says Pfizer apologized for blindsiding feds with third COVID jab notice. FDA chief requests probe into own agency's dealings with pharma firm before controversial approval for Alzheimer drug. Capital flight from Russia drops nearly 10% in first 6 months of year. Oh, we're to yesterday's news. When the hell did that happen? Oh, sorry. That happened with the booster shots, Fauci, Pfizer apologized thing. The U.S. continues to commit gross human rights violations both at home and abroad despite branding itself as a global leader, says Moscow. Again, we're on yesterday. Lebanon's Pfizer and AstraZeneca vaccination marathon canceled due to lack of electricity and internet connection at sites. That might hamper something. OPEC's fat isn't even about oil, it's about what comes after oil. I thought this was a very enlightening article, and I agree. I got to thinking about it when I read this article, and I mean, it talks about it itself too. I actually thought about it before I even started reading it. You've got a lot of governments around the planet that are making some pretty big promises about green technology. You know, talking about setting goals for being all electric vehicles and stuff like that. And they're starting to do that now. There are cities that are starting to put that stuff into place right now. And keeping that in mind, these oil companies know their time is limited. Once those policies and stuff go into place, even if they don't necessarily, meet their deadlines on time, they're still working towards it. And the entire time they're working towards it, people will be transitioning from, like, gasoline, diesel vehicles to electric vehicles, as an example. So, these oil companies know this, and you can only hold this off for so long. And to be real honest, you really can't hold it off much longer. Okay? The technology for the cars, yeah, it's way beyond there. it's beyond there and then some. Come on. Right? The only thing that anybody can even remotely bicker about is the batteries. Okay? And there is better technology out there, way better battery technology out there, but the reason why we don't have it in our hot little hands is largely because of who? Big oil. Their time is limited. And once they're out of the way, or at least pushed to the side enough, wait and see what happens. But you better believe it's on their mind. They'd be fools not to. Put my glasses back on so I can see. March against homophobia staged in Barcelona week after gay man Samuel Luis, beaten to death. I'm sure I probably said his... I don't know if that's Louise. I think it might be Louise. Post-Brexit 11th night celebrations in Northern Ireland turned political with monster bonfire lit by loyalists. Australians warned there's worse to come as locally transmitted COVID-19 cases surge in Greater Sydney area. The EU has kept its word. European Union reaches goal of delivering enough doses to vaccinate 70% of adults. Russia's liberal opposition goes to war again with itself. Yabloko tells supporters of Navalny it doesn't want their votes. At least 8 killed in police convoy bombing in Mogadishu, Somalia, says the media. Police charged 15-year-old boy with murder of 15-year-old Tamim Ian Habimana, amid spate of teenage stabbings in London. I'm sure I got that name way off. A removal of Confederate statue in Charlottesville causes division, with protesters calling it an erasure of history. Knifeman arrested after stabbing 2 cell phone store employees in France. Bangladesh factory owner among those arrested after over 50 workers die locked inside the inferno. Yikes. Let's see. Russia questions OPCW after report claims team was sent to Germany the same day Navalny felt unwell. Let's see. Trump Jr. targets Hunter Biden's numerous scandals and fiery CPAC speech. Turkey will not be silent about Israel's atrocities. Pardon me. Erdogan tells Palestinian President Abbas. Got you too, huh? I'm sure I got everybody. Sorry. Sorry. Work of Congress is not a joke. Republican women's group refuses to support some Trump-supporting female candidates. UN Special Rapporteur says Israeli settlements amount to war crime, drawing ire from Tel Aviv. Naive to think West will change stance on Navalny's poisoning, Russian envoy tells RT after OPCW report reveals inconsistencies. Capitol fencing comes down 6 months after January 6th riot. U.S. forces come under indirect rocket attack near occupied gas field in Syria. Ignore no solicit. Oh, I already talked. Well, actually, I'll repeat that for those that may not have been here. The headline is this, but it's something other than the headline that I really want to show you. But the headline is Ignore No Soliciting Signs. Tips for COVID-19 Vaccine Ambassadors Resurface Amid Concerns Over Biden's Door-to-Door Push. What I want to show you is concerning what I was saying on Thursday on the show I did Thursday evening. And this paragraph here. The door knockers were specifically instructed to fill out a spreadsheet and keep tabs on who is already vaccinated and who is not interested, and to report back their questions, concerns, and other important information that the health department is relying on. Jade Helm, anybody? Let's see. Sydney faces further lockdown extension as Australia reports 77 new cases in New South Wales. First COVID-19 death this year. this morning on Patreon, I couldn't get it right. I said it wrong. By the way, we are to this morning's news. And I what did I call it on Patreon? New South Wales? No, it was New South, North, South, West, New South. I can't remember. I'm like, what? And I couldn't remember it. And it's like literally the first thing down there. Anyway, British billionaire Branson set to become first space tourist to fly his own craft on Sunday, upstaging rival spacefarer Bezos. And I'll talk about that in a bit. Indian crypto exchanges say they're not concerned with current bear market. Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un vowed to bring China-North Korea ties to a new level, marking 60th anniversary of Mutual Defense Treaty. Shoot COVID-19 with guns. Comedian Rob Schneider roasted for idea that right to arms should be used against coercive vaccination. And I do believe that Mr. Schneider is on point. Australia completes full withdrawal from Afghanistan, leaving behind trail of war crime allegations. 90-year-old Belgian woman dies after contracting 2 coronavirus variants at the same time, researchers say. New coal plants are popping up all over Asia. Venezuela reports crushing heavily armed gangs in Caracas and blames U.S. and Colombia for instigating violence. Musk wishes Branson Godspeed ahead of his suborbital flight aboard VSS Unity, while Bezos' firm fires barbs. LA rapper shot in the face and killed while live streaming on Instagram. Sputnik 5 vaccine has very low rate of severe side effects in people over 60, says a San Marino study. Still waiting for bloody vaccinations. Australians furious with graphic government COVID ad telling people to get jabbed. Billionaires Gates and Soros reportedly step in to cover fraction of foreign aid cut by UK, but some question their intentions. India pulls diplomats from Afghanistan's second largest city as Taliban boasts rapid territorial gains. Billionaire Branson soars to the edge of space in his Unity rocket. And then Virgin founder Richard Branson successfully lands after beating Jeff Bezos in billionaire space race. And I'll go ahead and speak to it now. So I decided, what the hell, I'll watch this today. I didn't really know a whole lot about this particular spacecraft, and I was actually pleasantly surprised when I watched it and learned. And it's really a pretty, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of technology involved here, but at the same time, the concept is really simple. And that's really sometimes the best. Especially when you're dealing with something that endures very demanding conditions. And Anyway, I thought it was remarkable. I thought the flight was remarkable. I thought the aircraft was remarkable. Congratulations to Richard Branson. Again, I will not call him sir. I have a lord, and it's not him. I'll call any man sir, but I won't as not that kind of sir. I'm not gonna bow to a man. But nonetheless, I do congratulate him, and I look forward to seeing what him and his company can bring next. I don't have to tie all kinds of crazy, nefarious, evil, satanic worship ritual stuff to a man having a dream about taking a flight into space and maybe even furthering that dream of providing a way for rich individuals to achieve that goal as well. So, but here's the thing, right? You give it time, and to take such an adventure will become more and more obtainable for the average Joe. So, as long as the world don't get blown all to shit by then, we might see that happen. Don't hold your breath. FBI goes American Stasi with tweet encouraging family members to rat each other out for extremism. Man vandalizes Hunter Biden art gallery by spray painting daddy, assaults gallery employee, and gets arrested. London Borough apologizes for having actor in bare-bottomed monkey costume with mock genitalia encourage kids to read more books. You know, the thing that pissed me off the most about E.T., he didn't take me back with him. Son of a bitch. Let's see. Who shot Ashley Babbitt? Trump asked, flouting theory that head of security for the top Democrat could have pulled the trigger. Can't wait to join the club. Space billionaires Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk congratulate Richard Branson on his flight. A UK Labour Party to vote against freedom of speech bill, claiming it will embolden hate speech. Texas man who famously waited hours to vote in Democratic primary faces up to 40 years in prison for illegal voting. Police arrest 4 and seize firearms in a hotel near a Major League Baseball All-Star game to prevent possible Las Vegas-style shooting. I don't know why I was having a problem reading it. Let's see. School curriculum in Canada disputes view of math as objective discipline and argues it has been used to normalize racism. So now I'm starting to get the headlines myself that are associating math with racism. That just doesn't add up. Sorry. There's the number one up here. Freedom, food, and vaccines. Mass protest in Cuba backed by U.S. officials as president urges supporters to defy foreign meddling. Yeah. And all that stuff. Okay. There's the headline. Man, I am telling you. I am tired. Okay. I am going to get out of here because it's my Monday. And, well, because in half an hour, my happy little butt's going to be in bed. So anyway, I hope you all have a good evening. Can't wait to see you tomorrow for day number 2 of the Grow Tent vlog videos. And I'll see Patreon in the morning for their morning news. And I'll see everyone else back here tomorrow night for our normal nightly show. So I hope everybody has a good evening. Until next time, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.